Hello, and welcome to the final video for my Capstone research project at Full Sail University. The goal of my Action research project was to determine how to best help my peers make better use of the technology available to them, to help minimize the use of traditional classroom lecture and ultimately improve learner achievement. I began by asking how technology could be used to help today's teacher better fulfill the role of classroom facilitator and explore alternative methods of content delivery and learner-centered instruction. Cultivating learner engagement can be a challenging aspect of today's classrooms. Today's teacher often has to compete with a whole host of engaging media for the attention of their students, and finding ways to keep their lesson plans interesting and engaging can be increasingly challenging. As a result, the problem I have identified is a lack of learner engagement during the lesson process. My solution was to focus on the use of video and media technology to help impact learner engagement and reduce the need for traditional classroom lecture. During my project, I helped teachers learn to use these technologies to transform their lessons into brief yet engaging media presentations, which the learners can then view either collaboratively or asynchronously using the flipped classroom model.
Years as the technology that's available to us in the school district has improved and has become smaller and easier to manipulate. We've been trying to find ways to pull things together, so when David came to me to talk about the project that he was working on, it sounded really exciting to me because it was sort of something I'd been thinking about, and then now I finally have a way that I can work it together with his help to try to do this.
Much of my research is centered around the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, originated in 1998 by Richard Mayer. Also known as the multimedia principle, the cognitive theory of multimedia learning is based upon three main ideas. First is that the brain uses two separate channels to process incoming information, visual and auditory. Second is that these channels have a limited capacity to process new information at any given time. Finally, learning is an active process which is based largely upon prior knowledge that is combined with new information. During Cycle 1, I worked closely with participating teachers to help them choose a lesson plan which they felt was best suited for our project. Using Google Documents, I created an open-ended questionnaire that each teacher used to communicate with me the details of the lessons that they had chosen. Using this form, we were able to identify the main ideas for each lesson and some of the objectives that they hoped to achieve from the video presentation. After reviewing the questionnaires, I began to get a good idea of what might be needed for the project and what some of our options might be. Over a few emails, we began to talk about how their lessons might be converted into media presentations and briefly discussed which types of media we thought might be best for each individual lesson. This helped a great deal in the beginning by saving time and creating a focal point that we could then begin to work toward. Next, I began working with each participant to help create the media presentations for their lessons. Some presentations were intended as an introduction to the day's lesson, while others were to be used in lieu of a lecture. I introduced the participants to simple tools like Prezi and Google Docs and helped them use these tools to create media, which we later used for each presentation. I wanted each participant to learn to use what they had, like cell phones or cameras, to capture video for the presentations. But in most cases, I had to film the participants while they gave short lectures or demonstrations that were required for each lesson. After a lot of hard work, we were finally ready to put the lessons into action. During Cycle 2, each participating teacher conducted their lesson plans, which contained the media presentations that we had created. After each viewing, the students were allowed to discuss collaboratively the lesson and what they felt they had learned from the presentations. Most classes had activities that were created in conjunction with the video presentation, and students were allowed to put into practice what they had learned from the presentations. Each participating teacher was given a pre- and post questionnaire to help determine their prior experience with technology and how they feel using media technology has impacted their teaching. In addition, the participating students were also given a short interest questionnaire to help determine their perceived level of engagement and obtain their overall opinion on the lesson presentations. The pre- and post-interview questionnaires that each teacher completed were reviewed and the results were analyzed for comparison to one another. Although the questionnaires indicate that 100% of the participating teachers perceived a positive impact on their lesson plans from using video media technology, only 80% of the participants said that they would attempt to use video media in their future lesson plans. They reported that the level of engagement that their students experienced during the video media lesson was significantly improved, while the remaining participants cited reasons such as time factor and the learning curve required as barriers to using these types of media technology in their classroom without the support of someone knowledgeable to help. The results of the student interest questionnaires were examined with 3 general questions in mind. Did the participating students feel that the video lessons were enjoyable? Did the students feel that they had learned something from watching them? And how well, compared to traditional class lectures, did they feel that they could remember the information they viewed? Of the students who participated, 100% reported an increased feeling of interest and engagement from watching the lesson's video presentation. 89% reported that they remembered most of the information. When asked if they had enjoyed watching the video lesson presentation more than hearing a traditional lecture, 100% of the students responded positively. The students who participated in the media-enhanced lesson presentations reported that they enjoyed the experience and would like to view video presentations in other assignments.
More lessons, because I have several more lessons that I really feel like if I could get myself into a form where they can actually work with me without me being present, that they could catch some things up. Even though they missed out on the fun of the activity, they still would be able to get the important pieces. Talking to some of the science teachers on my campus, because they have this incredible idea about working a flipped classroom. They'd like to videotape a lecture, a short one maybe, and put it out there on YouTube or be able to share it with their students so that the students can view the lecture as part of their homework, and if they don't understand something they could maybe look again a second time at the lecture and then come to class ready to actually deal with the material. Things carefully enough that it's something that as they grow they can be proud of, because this is not going to be one of those tools that gets used one time and goes away. This is something I intend to use for the rest of my career and then bequeath to someone who picks up my lessons in the future.